Okay, we're going to have a quick overview here. Still have some of the old things that are just temporary, like these little things down here. They're just leftover tests while I still try things out. This is how it's going to load with the default cube in the middle. As you can see, when you click it, it selects the item in the tree, or vice versa. You can select here. You can go into the view controls, and you can change your selection color to be something other than red if you want, and your unselected color, which is also there. So I'm going to quickly do right now. Holding down the middle mouse button allows you to turn your camera left and right. The way it's currently hooked up now, the direction you move your mouse is the direction the scene will appear to move, not the direction your head would turn. It seems to be a little more intuitive from the feedback I've been getting. If you hold down the Alt key, that actually moves the camera, not just turns it. It actually makes the camera move up and down or left and right. The arrow keys will move your camera in steps. And if you hold down Shift, that'll move in steps times 100. If you turn on Orbit, and then use the middle mouse button, you'll notice that that's a pure orbit. Now, there's no gimbal lock on this orbit whatsoever. It's completely smooth. Any people having issues with that, I can show you how to do it. It's actually a little bit of a rig. There's no fancy math. It just requires a couple of pivots that are currently being hidden from the scene up here. So let's have a look here. I just turn on mesh highlighting, not exclude, so meshes are in highlight mode. If I did exclude, which I'm going to turn on just for fun, you can't select anything but a mesh with the mouse. If you actually use the space bar or the arrow keys and Shift, it'll start selecting the things. What I'm going to do right now is quickly, let's do this. Open file. You could just drag a file on. If you open a file, it goes back to the last thing that you opened. It remembers that initialization file. It's a big file. It's very good. It's full of lots of fun things, so it's a great one to use as a test for this kind of thing. So again, click in the middle of the scene, put focus in the scene. Hold down Shift and the back arrow, get yourself out. Now left us in orbit mode. The thing you're going to notice right now, screen picking just merely toggles the selection. You can find it now. Turn the selection off if you want. If you click a mesh that has no surfaces, it won't display anything. It's a parent mesh. But a mesh that has surfaces, the surfaces will be highlighted in the current selection color. Or you can click something and look and see it. The screen picking is a toggle. It's additive. It doesn't override or replace yet. That's a mode that's, I'll add some more shift keys for that. The wireframe does consume a little bit of power. As you can see, 82,000 triangles there. Just hit Control W to turn the wireframe off, and you can see the mesh how it is with the wireframe level on top. And, this mesh is actually enough to make my laptop blow hot air. Anyhow, it's an old mesh I did in Max a long time ago, and before any of my other tools existed, I exported out in Dial. Quickly going to show that the link here makes it so editing scale is uniform, unless you have that unselected. Some of these locks don't do anything except the rotation lock. Passes control back and forth between the automatic spinning and this for now. There'll be some big changes to this coming up. But mainly what I wanted to go over was how the selection system works. If you're quickly looking to find some other items, you notice this is now locked off. You can't pick it. But if you pick something else that's acceptable, it'll go away. Hold down Control and select multiple things in here, or click one and then simply drag your mouse down over the other items. And you can select only things of that type. This can make it really handy if you're only looking for specific items. Again, you can drag this down here to move your preview's left margin, so you can look at extra long entries. Still not decided if I'm going to leave this plain text or if I'll actually put little icons, which a lot of people are a little more visual, so little icons might be coming. Your step size here is kind of important. That is your actual step size for anything else, whether it's the middle wheel, which I'm actually moving right now, but it's only moving at 0.1 steps. Your arrow keys are actually multiplied by that. So you're only moving small amounts. You just pop that up to 1. Then you click back in the middle of the screen, you'll notice that it's moving a little better. If you hold down Shift and then use an arrow key, you're moving at 100 units, or 100 times that step unit. Windows, like these little tool windows like this that will be giving you the drag and put anywhere on your desktop, but they remain part of the parent program as a child, so you can get a taskbar for it jump. In the initialization file, if you bring up here, hopefully this is actually recording this, because sometimes the system doesn't see these windows every time with you. The last place you visited for a file is up here. You can blank that if you don't like it. The last thing you saved is there. If you turn this verbose mode on, that'll give you the console that'll show you the error login. If you're not sure whether your small control window, this one is showing, you can hit Alt-V, show and hide it, and then it has its starting position in the tab. So if you come down here, the view control, that's the X and Y location for where it's displayed on my screen. And it might be another spot on your screen. And that's your new Windows location. Here remembers the positions where you left it. Your step size you last picked, and your ray scan rate. If you make this a higher number, it'll slow down the number of ray picks and increase the speed of the rest of P3D. I find between 128 and 256 is plenty good enough. That's an 1/8 of a second between rays. And here's your colors, integer values of the colors for the selected and so forth. So that's all there is really in there. Something that I've done to make things a little easier, you can hit Control W to turn the wireframe on and off that you've seen. E hides and shows and hides the edit panel. T shows and hides the tree panel. So you can go ahead and hide both if you want. Some other items, for example, Control I will hide the information bar at the bottom. Now, you can hide a bit more things, such as the toolbar. If you want, of course, you can maximize the screen if you're going too quick. Of course, you can get your viewers back as much or as little as you need. Of course, you can hide it directly there. You notice the tools try to size automatically. So depending on what you're working on, you might not need everything else in your scene. And you might want to hide this little fellow if you're not using it, or push them further off to the side. More of the tools will be able to switch to floating. You can't pull these to float yet. The dragging is disabled. Just the way that they're being controlled right now, I don't have them floating yet. But the ability to dock and undock is something I'm looking into, as long as it doesn't break how FLTK or full tick handles events. Might be a bit trickier coming later. Anyhow, this is where we are. Something that you might not be able to see in a second. I'm going to try. If I drag the window wider, you'll notice that while it was doing it, there's a nice little message up top there telling you that it is pending a redraw. There's a minimum size. It will not let you size under the minimum size. You can go over in any direction, but you can't go under the minimum size. Of course, there's hotkeys to break all that, except for the menu stuff at the top. I haven't attached a hotkey to them. Most of the active hotkeys, if you look in here, are actually listed in the menu. So you can get there with background control B if you want to go to this one. Background color, here we go. Get more green. Color. Get loaded. Get step size too large. So, that. There we go. Of course, for very, very, very fine adjustments, step size can be almost nothing. It's actually moving there. If you're up close, you can see it at the end. But, anyhow, we'll call that a wrap for now. Again, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll have some more items out for you. One thing you'll notice, the menu tries to show up in the last section there, and I'll just put that in there. Anyhow, thanks for watching.